Welcome from Switzerland to another video of the RC Brothers Switzerland. Now today we want to make a very short video on two planes which we own and which we think are really great. And you can see between the two RC Brothers in the background is the AeroScout. This is the AeroScout, the first version. I think there's a new one out, but the new one, I think it's called S2 or whatever, second version, is only updated from the smart telemetry. Other than that, it's the same plane. So it's a 1.1 meter pusher.
Yeah.
It's a really good beginner plane.
It gives out the UMX of this version, but it's not really good out.
Yes, I don't think, yes, there is a smaller, it's not a UMX version, well, kind of, it's a mini AeroScout. And I think we never had it, and we've seen some reviews, and it's a 3-channel. Yeah, but it's a 3-channel mainly. It's not a 4-channel plane.
But it's not like this.
Yeah, and that's not the one that we have. But this one is probably the best beginner plane. Yeah. It comes as a RTF, a ready-to-fly set, or as a BNF plane, so you can bind it. Yes. And we also had some other RTF or beginner planes, the Sport Cup S2 or something like that, which is like a 1S plane, which we really cannot recommend. It's okay. I think it's fun if you can fly already a little bit, and if it's indoors and you have a gigantic gym, then maybe, because it cannot take any wind. And I think it's really difficult to learn on it. It's much too weak. There's some other good, I think they have 2 or 3 planes. We will definitely also talk about the Apprentice STS, which is a brilliant plane, a great beginner plane, but it's 1.5 meters. And I think you really need to buddy box and have a friend to start you with. This may be one that you can start on your own. It is a pusher prop. As you can see, the propeller is
it can be and you do with full power, it can be sometimes fast.
Yes, I think this is very important to know that although this is a beginner plane, it can be really fast. I think nevertheless it can take a lot
Not on full power.
Yes, don't always go on full power. It's a very, very easy assembly. It's a tricycle landing gear with very, very big wheels. You can see our logo here on this AeroScout. It always takes the same battery in the battery hatch.
Yes.
Let me just put this down for a moment.
May I find the battery here?
Yes, we have a battery here. So this is the 3S. This is a smart. We only use smart batteries. We only have 3S and 4S.
Not like last time with the UMX Turbo Timber.
Yeah, not like the UMXs, they take different batteries.
They take the blue ones, the old ones.
Yes, and this is a 3S 2200. And one of the really cool things that we need to say about this being a beginner plane, there are very few planes, 1.1, 1.2, 1.5 meter, that are easy assembly and disassembly. This is a plane that if you really don't have much space in the car or at home to store a plane, it has a very special way. You can see these screws that have a plastic head very easily. Yeah, you can point it out 3 times. It has 3 of these screws, and this is really a wing.
It can do the wings off or on.
Yes, and actually very easily.
Not break so
it
easily.
Doesn't break. So there's a lot of planes, you have to be very careful when you buy it with the wing. I mean, we also like the maul. We always wanted to have a maul, and there's a couple of others.
But the wings are the problem. They cannot do it every time, so it should break.
Come a little bit closer, otherwise the camera doesn't see you. Yes. So there's some planes which we really like, and then we know they fly really well, they look really well.
You need a really big car to store them.
Yes. So we're living in Europe, we're obviously in Switzerland, we don't have very gigantic big cars.
Like in an American.
Yes, some people in America also have small cars, some people in Switzerland have big cars. We don't have a big one, and with this gentleman here sitting with me in a child seat, he also takes some space away. So
I need it to be, so big that I can sit there.
Soon you can sit in the floor. Can you take a seat again? Thank you very much. So let's talk a few more words about the AeroScout. AeroScout easy assembly, fast assembly, easy to take off, easy to fly and safe. You have also landed it now a couple of times.
About 4 or 5.
Yes, 4 or 5 times you have been flying it alone, landing it alone. Body boxing is always great. We did this many times, but now he can fly the AeroScout really without me having to make any changes. The AeroScout can also take a lot of abuse also on the landing. There is one weak spot with many planes, the front wheel. The front wheel is connected, of course, to the rudder. And when you have hard landings, particularly as a beginner,
it can break.
It can break the servo. The servos are pretty cheap in here. Plastic servos. They're not metallic, yes.
Or the new servos.
Yeah. So maybe you wanted to replace, once you've broken it for the first time, maybe you want to replace it with a better one. So be.
We should not do it.
Yes, we already had to do it once or twice.
Twice.
I think. Interesting enough, you never break. I've never seen a broken rudder. I've never seen the vertical or horizontal stabilizer being broken. Also, the wings from time to time you have little dents or little doodads.
Yeah.
But overall, it's easy to fly. It has no flaps. Oh, by the way, you can see we actually also have lights. We have a red light. These position lamps.
This is the only one we have a white light downstairs.
Yes, at the bottom we also have a white one. So these are actually for multiplex.
And we have 3 versions: fast, middle, and slow.
Yeah. So the lights are LEDs. Thank you. The lights are LEDs. They attach to the outside. You don't have any cables. They're rechargeable with a USB cable. Micro USB, and they hold the energy forever. You charge them once and for many weeks you can go fly and it's blinking. So these are the position lights, green for right, red for left. Is it necessary? No. Is it cool? Yes. Does it help sometimes? Yes, it does. It does. If it's a little bit in the night, if the light is not so, or the morning.
Really dark.
Yes.
Or not for a nice day.
Yes, if it's very cloudy and you think you're losing a little bit side of the plane.
In Switzerland, by us for sometimes it was really cloudy, it was really warm.
Yes, so sometimes it helps if you kind of you're about to lose sight of the plane, which is anyhow something you should never do. But if you're not sure about if it's facing you or facing away from you, if you can see the red or green light, you understand if it's facing towards you or facing away. So as a tip, I think in the States you can buy these sets from other providers cheaper. Here they're pretty expensive. They're around 50 euros or 50 francs or $50, and I think they're a little bit cheaper in the US. If you can get them, put them on all of your planes. If you don't have LEDs already, of course they're more expensive. E-flite planes. This is our only hobby zone plane that we have. You have to understand. Yes, it says hobby zone. Yeah. The cheaper the plane is, then it doesn't come with flaps, it doesn't come with retracts, it doesn't come with lights.
It's not so much in, so technology and everything of our
lives. But the smart technology is of course there. This is a trainer plane. It has 3 flight modes. It has the beginner, intermediate, and it has the advanced.
Something for the light. When you're on the back or on the normal version to fly, you can see it.
Yes, you can see it very well.
When you not know
and it has
up or down.
Thank you. It has AS3X and Safe Select, of course. So Safe, you can also just fly it in advanced mode, and it flies in AS3X only.
Intermediate is not got so good.
Yeah. Okay, that's just an opinion. So Brian Phillips also said in the video, you don't really need intermediate. It's kind of, you have either beginner mode, the safe mode, or you have advanced, which we kind of more or less agree, but it's still cool to have intermediate mode. And we're not going to get into that now because we have other videos where we talk about the remote control and A3X and safe. So we highly recommend, from our own experience, we also had a lot of UMX planes. The UMX Turbo Timber is a really great little UMX. Right, so we had a lot of different experiences with 1S or 2S planes. we think that if you have the space, if the field that you're flying is big enough, a couple of football fields, soccer fields, this is the best beginner plane to start. You will have a lot of success. Be careful, stay in safe for a long time. Your landings, you take your time for the landing. It has smart telemetry. It will tell you how much remaining battery power you have. I think you should use smart technology, use the smart charger, use the smart batteries, and you will do fine. So our highest recommendation for, we still have a lot of fun. This plane can be very wild. Do not underestimate it. It can be very wild, a lot of fun, but it's also perfect for beginners.
Wild is more for the stunt flyer.
So this is a 1.1 meter, and now we're going to switch it out for another 1.1 meter. Can you hold this like this for a moment? And then you can put it down while I pick this one up. So we are changing to another 1.1 meter. We actually wanted to do just one plane at a time, but since this one was just up here with us and up in the basement, this is the T-28, the one that came out last March, or also about a year ago.
And now his brothers come out again.
Yes, and now the bigger one, 1.2 meter cam. So this is also 1.1 meter.
And
as you can see, it also has...
It's not the normal T-28, it's the yellow one, not the red and white.
Yes, it also is 1.1 meter. It is a BNF, so it has safe select.
And the same thing we have off the light now.
And AS3X. And it also has no flaps, and it also came without light. That's why it's actually very cheap. This is a super plane. We can show you from the bottom. Again, you can see our RC Brothers Switzerland stickers.
Yeah.
You can see it has no retract. It has a normal landing gear. Of course, there is no batteries inside. Otherwise, I wouldn't hold it at the propeller, right? It makes a lot of sense. And you can see our lights again. I'm just going to switch on the red one this time for a change. It's very, very strong. This is one mode, second mode,
and it's
third
the
mode.
Is the correct.
The last one is the one that we normally choose. So we also have the orientation thanks to those lights. And these, by the way, these dots down here, this is, of course, the CG.
And here you guys, when you see some dots here on the AeroScout is me. This is the same GG.
It's the CG. Actually, first of all, the AeroScout is one of the few planes that comes, it says CG under the wing, and you can feel it. It's actually molded into the plane. Now, it actually has it in this one, but I put some dots on it. Now, something very interesting about these two planes. Actually, you cannot really go wrong with the CG, and here is why. The AeroScout really only takes these 2200 and not bigger. And there's only one way to really nicely close the hatch, and you will notice the moment you push this in the position where it nicely closes the hatch, the CG is perfect. There is really no, between the servos inside the hatch and between where the hatch closes, there is no room. So really, and we also, it is important to know about CG for model airplanes, but actually some people get a little bit too carried away because a lot of them, a few millimeters does not make such a big difference. So for the AeroScout, there's only this battery anyhow. Now, the T-28 takes this battery as well. It's extremely popular battery, and it takes the 4S.
Yeah.
But the 4S is the same height. It has all this, it's everything the same except the height. The height is higher, but lengthwise it's the same. And there is something else. This is the former Park Zone model. So this was actually a Park Zone plane in the first time it came out. And it has a very special hatch again, the way it closes. So the way, when the hatch comes down...
Park Zone one of this one was not yellow.
No, it wasn't yellow, but the inside is the same. The foam is the same. And it can only...
The only thing what it changed...
Can I finish, little RC brother? Thank you. So the point I'm trying to say is you can't put a bigger battery pack inside. You can't put a 3200. The only way to put a 4S or 3S 3200, which is really not necessary for this plane, is by cutting into the EPO here, into the phone, and making it intentionally bigger, the battery access compartment. And that's completely unnecessary. So I just wanted to say in a very funny way, like the AeroScout, the T-28 Trojan, this one, not much to worry about the CG. Now, 4S versus 3S. 4S is a rocket. And 4S, it just doesn't look scale. You can fly, you can do obviously you can do certain maneuvers. There are wonderful videos on YouTube that show how you can do very nice, very 3D flying with the T-28 on 3S. We like 3S, we like the scale, the scale look.
The scale?
Scale, so it looks like the real thing. Yeah. If you want an acrobatic plane, buy the extra, buy something else. But it has great, or the pits. Yeah, something like that. It has great capability. I would say if somebody only buys one plane and learns with the AeroScout, and they do really well and they do a lot in AS3X only, then second plane can easily be a T-28. Absolutely no problem. We will in another video then talk about the Crescendo Evolution, which is different because it's a motoglider. And it also is easy. Yeah, I think it could also be a second plane, not a first plane, but a second plane.
Or a third.
Yeah, we have to talk about that because the main issue is the hand launch and the landing. Okay, let's not
the
get.
Landing, you
need a lot of space and you need some experience.
Let's wait on this video.
So I think we're nearly finished. We'll get to a few last minute thoughts. So there is more movies coming up. We will show our Crescendo Evolution and talk about the hand launch and the landings and 3S versus 4S.
Gonna be a little bit longer.
We'll talk about the Apprentice, STS, also 1.5 meter like the Crescendo. We will talk.
Gonna talk about every plane.
We will talk about the RV7. Okay, another cool 1.1 meter plane.
New.
We will talk about the Turbo Timber Evolution 1.5 meters. So, and the Air Cobra, yes. So again, to have a few last thoughts, let's see what we forgot. AeroScout, thumbs up for the best horizon hobby zone, beginner plane. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's
not
powerful.
Like the yellow carbon little thing. Like
no, but there is a carbon cup of 1.3 meter, which is also very, very good. But again, the problem of that plane is the wings.
Yeah.
Once they're on, you have to leave them on, and
That's
it's 1.3 is pretty big for putting in a car without taking it off.
The plane is super fly.
It's a super plane, the carbon cup.
This one's seated
the hobby zone. Yes, we've seen it in our place, Flying Club, many times. This is another very good plane, but again, we still think the AeroScout is really, if you like flying RC but you've never tried it, that's probably the one you want. It's also, I think it's the cheapest one. You can have it as an RTF.
I don't know something.
Yeah.
Behind, we do something in.
Yes, we put something in, we put a little, this is actually...
Why is go on the butt of it?
Yes, it's not on takeoff. It could be that if you do it a little bit abruptly, that you could, with the butt, so to speak, of your plane, you can hit the runway. And here we put this little hook there. It's actually not called hook. I, at the moment, completely forgot what it's called, but it has a name, and it's a Dubro. We also put some Dubro tires sometimes on our plane.
Yeah,
and this
like
we
by
just,
the Apprentice.
Yes, and this we just put on the T-28. Now, honestly, that is not necessary, but I think it costs $2 or $3. Probably in the US it costs $1 or something like that.
When you know that the plane will go really off on his spot, then better buy it for it.
Yes, it's just, it kind of looks cool. I actually, if you hand me give me quickly the AeroScout, I want to show something, because we can prove that we hit the runway with the AeroScout with the butt. If you look closely into the camera,
you see that not so nice. Now this is the perfect.
You can see. Can you point to it, Noah, to the black spot? Yeah. one can see that we touched the runway. Thank you very much. We can put it back down. Thank you. As I said, be very careful in this hobby. Neither of these two planes has any batteries inside.
You got hit again.
Otherwise, I would come closer. Otherwise, I would have not let Noah just touch the planes, and you know the props can be very, very, very dangerous. So
I know which one though.
we
8 now.
Yes, we can highly recommend those two planes, the T-28 Trojan, the 1.1 meter as a second plane. We fly it on the 3S 2200. We fly also on the 3S 2200 with our AeroScout. AeroScout is the perfect first plane, and size-wise they're great. But honestly, seriously, for us, a 1.1 meter plane already in the car that doesn't have retracts, it takes space because you're depending.
When you have another big car.
Yes, and when you have a little RC brother or RC son that comes to fly with you, it takes space away. If you have planes that actually have retracts or that you hand launch that have no wheels, they're actually taking a little bit less space. Yes, you can take the cockpits off. You can sometimes put one plane on top of the other. There are ways to be very careful how you put, you can maybe put something in a little blanket in between. So, but remember, these are foamies, and yeah, and foamies, most of the damage they seem to get from transport.
Yes, not like Bowser that upstairs.
Yes, we also have a balsa plane. We'll talk about that some other time. But I think that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Both planes we highly recommend. The T-28 shouldn't be necessarily your first plane.
Can be one the
second or third plane. Fly it on 3S. It's much nicer.
The AeroScout can be your first. Nothing
should be your first plane. Okay, that's all for today from Switzerland, and we say goodbye, and hopefully the weather will be getting soon warmer.
And maybe tomorrow is the next film.
And then we'll see when we make the next film. Probably on the Congenital Evolution, and then also on the Apprentice STS. Bye from Switzerland. Bye bye.